Once upon a time, in a galaxy not too far from our own, there was a brave human soldier named Alex. Alex had dedicated his life to protecting his home planet, Earth, from many dangers, including invading aliens. He was strong, skilled in combat, and always ready to help his fellow soldiers. After many successful missions, the higher command decided to reward him, but this reward was nothing he expected. After a long battle against a powerful alien army, the humans celebrated their victory. Soldiers raised their glasses, laughter filled the air, and Alex felt proud of what they had achieved. The commander announced, "To honor our best soldier, we have a special reward." Everyone listened closely. Some thought it would be a medal or a new weapon, but the commander continued, "Alex will receive a special alien woman to serve him." Alex's heart sank. The idea of owning another being felt wrong. He knew all too well the suffering and loss that came from war. Just as he was about to protest, he was introduced to the alien woman. Her name was Zara, and she was from a planet called Vyrexia. Her crystal blue skin shimmered under the lights, and her wide, curious eyes seemed to hold worlds of secrets. Zara did not look like a servant or a slave. In fact, she looked quite strong and resilient. She stood tall, her posture straight and proud. Alex felt conflicted. He didn't ask for a reward like this, and now he had a responsibility that felt heavy. As days turned into weeks, Alex tried to treat Zara with kindness. He learned about her home and her people. Zara shared stories of Vyrexia, a beautiful planet filled with lush forests and colorful skies. She spoke of the Vyrexians, a peaceful race that loved art and music. As they talked, Alex could see the pain in her eyes when she mentioned the war and how her people were captured and sold. Alex often found himself staring at Zara, attempting to understand her world. He noticed the way she moved gracefully, and her laughter was unlike anything he had ever heard. He knew she was more than a prize. She was a person with dreams and feelings, just like anyone else. One evening, while the sun set behind the distant mountains, Zara approached Alex. "Thank you for treating me well," she said softly. "Most don't see me as I am. They only see a slave." Alex nodded, feeling a pang of guilt. "You're not a slave to me," he reassured her. "I want to help you find a way home." Zara's eyes sparkled with hope. "You would do that for me, even after everything that has happened?" She seemed surprised. Alex smiled. "You deserve to be free. I want to change how we treat each other." As the weeks passed, the bond between Alex and Zara deepened. They began to work together to find a way to contact Zara's home planet. One afternoon, they discovered an old communication device buried in the ruins of a space station. Alex carefully restored it while Zara watched, her heart racing with anticipation. Finally, the device crackled to life. Zara spoke her message, sending it out into the vast universe. "This is Zara of Vyrexia. I am alive. Please help me. Return home." They waited, days feeling like weeks, but heard nothing in return. Frustrated, yet hopeful, Alex continued to support Zara, promising that they would figure something out. One night, Alex was restless and went for a walk outside the base. Stars twinkled brightly above him, and he thought of Zara. In that moment, he realized he was falling in love with her spirit. He had come to admire her bravery while living in a situation that should have crushed her. Suddenly, Alex heard a commotion. He rushed back to the base, only to find a group of soldiers gathered around. They had received news of a Vyrexian ship arriving. Alex's heart raced. This could be Zara's chance to go home, but he also felt scared. What if he lost her? The ship landed with a loud thud, and out came Vyrexian warriors. They were tall and proud, just like Zara. Alex gave Zara a worried glance. "What will they do?" he asked. "Will they want to take you away?" Zara's face was filled with determination. They will not take me. I choose my path. As the leaders of the Virexians met with the human commanders, tensions rose. The Virexians wanted to reclaim their people. Alex stood next to Zara, feeling the weight of his role in this moment. He decided to speak up. Zara should not be taken. She has become a part of my life. We must find a way for her to return with her dignity, he declared. Everyone turned to him, surprised. The commander frowned, but nodded. Zara looked at Alex with appreciation. After a long discussion, the two sides reached an agreement. Zara could return home, but would have the choice to come back to Earth as a diplomat for her people, paving the way for peace. As the days turned into goodbyes, Zara stood with Alex at the edge of the base, tears in her eyes. Thank you for everything. You've shown me kindness that I never thought I would receive, she said. Alex felt his heart ache. You've changed me too, Zara. I will cherish our time together. The Virexian ship prepared for departure. As a final promise, Zara leaned in and kissed Alex on the cheek. I will never forget you. With that, she boarded the ship, waving goodbye. Alex stood there, watching the ship rise into the sky, knowing he had made the right choice. Though they were worlds apart, Alex felt a connection that transcended space. He knew that they would always be part of each other's stories, united by the beauty of understanding and compassion. Sergeant Major Alex Ryder, a seasoned soldier of the Earth Defense Force, stood tall amidst the throng of officers and dignitaries. He had just been honored for his bravery and strategic brilliance in the recent war against the Krill, a hostile, alien race threatening human colonies. The Grand Hall buzzed with anticipation as General Thompson stepped forward, a glint in his eye. Sergeant Ryder, the general announced, his voice booming, for your exceptional service, the Council has approved a special commendation. He gestured towards a veiled figure standing silently beside him. As a symbol of gratitude and a testament to our victory, you are hereby presented with a Krillian companion. Ryder frowned. A companion? He'd expected a medal, perhaps a promotion, but this? The veiled figure was undoubtedly Krillian, their species distinguishable by their slender frame and the faint bioluminescent glow that emanated even through the heavy fabric. Krillians were known for their intellect and adaptability, but also their ruthlessness in battle. He couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. As the veil was lifted, Ryder found himself staring into the eyes of a young Krillian woman. Her skin was a soft lavender, and her eyes, large and expressive, held a mixture of fear and defiance. She was beautiful, in an alien way, but the metal collar around her neck was a stark reminder of her status. Her name is Lyra, General Thompson stated. She's been reprogrammed for servitude. She will obey your commands without question. Ryder's stomach churned. The idea of owning another being, especially one as intelligent as a Krillian, was abhorrent to him. He had fought to defend humanity, but the idea of enslaving an entire race felt wrong. General, with all due respect, Ryder began, I'm not sure I'm the right person for this. Perhaps there's someone else who would appreciate this gift. The general's smile faltered. Sergeant, this is not a request. It's an order. Lyra is now your responsibility. Use her as you see fit. She could be an invaluable asset. Ryder knew better than to argue. He saluted stiffly and accepted the leash attached to Lyra's collar. As he led her away, he could feel her gaze on his back, questioning, perhaps even hopeful. Back in his quarters, the silence was deafening. Lyra stood in the corner, her eyes fixed on the floor. Ryder didn't know what to say. He poured himself a drink, the amber liquid doing little to soothe his nerves. Lyra, he finally said, his voice rough. Look at me. She hesitated, then slowly raised her head. Her eyes were filled with apprehension. I didn't ask for this, Ryder continued. I don't believe in slavery. But I can't just set you free. Not yet. Lyra remained silent, her expression unreadable. I won't treat you like a slave, Ryder promised. I'll give you food, shelter, and I won't force you to do anything you don't want to do. But you have to understand, you're a symbol of the war. If I let you go, it could cause problems. Lyra tilted her head, as if trying to understand his words. Problems, she echoed, her voice soft and melodic. Political problems, Ryder explained. People are afraid of the Krill. They want to see you punished. Lyra nodded slowly. Punishment, she repeated, the word laced with sadness. Over. The next few weeks, Ryder and Lyra settled into an uneasy routine. Ryder treated her with respect, allowing her to explore his quarters and even sharing meals with her. He learned that she had been a scientist before the war, specializing in xenolinguistics. She, in turn, began to trust him. Her initial fear slowly replaced by curiosity. One evening, as they sat together, Lyra spoke of her home world, a planet of lush forests and vibrant oceans. She described the Krillian culture, their emphasis on knowledge and harmony with nature. Ryder listened, captivated by her words. He realized that the Krill were not the monsters he had been led to believe. They were a complex, intelligent race, driven to war by desperation and fear. Why did you fight? Ryder asked, his voice gentle. Why did you attack our colonies? Lyra hesitated, her eyes clouding with pain. Our planet was dying, she said softly. Our resources were depleted. We needed a new home. Your colonies were suitable. Ryder sighed. It was the same old story. Two races, fighting for survival, caught in a cycle of violence. As time passed, Ryder found himself drawn to Lyra. He admired her intelligence, her resilience, and her quiet strength. He began to question his own beliefs, his own prejudices. He realized that he was falling in love with her. But their relationship was not without its challenges. Many of Ryder's colleagues viewed Lyra with suspicion and hostility. They saw her as a symbol of the enemy, a constant reminder of the war. Ryder had to constantly defend her, risking his own reputation and career. One day, General Thompson summoned Ryder to his office. "Sergeant," he said, his voice cold, "I've been hearing rumors about your relationship with Lyra. I must remind you that she is your property. You are not to fraternize with her. She is to be used as an example of our victory, not as a companion." Ryder clenched his fists. "General, Lyra is more than just a possession. She's a person. She deserves to be treated with respect." "Respect?" the general sneered. "She's a Krillian. She's lucky to be alive. Don't forget who you are, Sergeant. You're a soldier of the Earth Defense Force. Your duty is to protect humanity, not to coddle aliens." Ryder knew that he was walking on thin ice. He could be court-martialed for insubordination, but he couldn't betray Lyra. He couldn't pretend that she was just a thing. "I understand, General," Ryder said, his voice tight. "But I will not mistreat her." The general's eyes narrowed. "You're playing a dangerous game, Sergeant. Be careful." As Ryder left the office, he knew that he had reached a crossroads. He had to choose between his duty and his heart. He had to decide whether he was willing to risk everything for Lyra. Back. In his quarters, Ryder found Lyra waiting for him. She could sense his distress. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. Ryder told her about his conversation with the general. He told her that their relationship was putting him in danger. He told her that he loved her. Lyra listened in silence, her eyes filled with tears. "I knew this couldn't last," she said softly. "I'm sorry. I've caused you so much trouble." "It's not your fault," Ryder said, taking her hand. "I don't regret anything." "What are you going to do?" Lyra asked. Ryder looked into her eyes, his heart filled with determination. "I'm going to protect you," he said, "no matter what it takes." Once upon a time, in a future where humans had begun exploring distant planets, a brave soldier named Jack served in the United Earth Forces. He was known for his courage and determination in battles against alien foes. After a fierce conflict with a hostile alien race known as the Varkans, Jack became a hero. His bravery saved many lives, and he was awarded a rare reward, a Varkan woman named Lyra. Lyra was different from anyone Jack had ever met. The Varkans were known for their striking features and advanced abilities. Lyra had shimmering blue skin, bright golden eyes, and a graceful presence. When Jack first laid eyes on her, he felt a mix of awe and unease. He was told that she would serve him as a companion in his quarters, a reward for his service. Initially, Jack didn't know how to treat Lyra. In his world, having a servant was a strange concept, especially one from another species. He felt uncomfortable with the idea of owning another being. When he met her for the first time, he saw sadness in her eyes. Lyra was not just an alien slave. She was a being with feelings, dreams, and a past. "Hello, my name is Jack. I don't want you to feel like you are my slave," he said gently. Lyra looked up, surprised to hear kindness. People from Jack's world did not often speak to Varkans with compassion. "You can tell me about yourself if you feel comfortable," he added. Lyra stood still for a moment, unsure whether to trust him. "I am Lyra," she finally said in a soft voice. "I was taken from my home when my planet was invaded." Jack's heart sank. He realized that while he had fought for his planet, she had lost hers. He decided he wanted to learn more about her, not just about her role as his reward. Over the next few weeks, Jack visited with her often. He asked her questions about Varka, her family, and her life before the war. Each story showed the strength and beauty of her culture. As time passed, they began to bond. Jack admired Lyra's intelligence and humor. She made him laugh, and he enjoyed her company more than he'd expected. However, the shadow of their situation hung above them. Jack was a soldier, and she was a captive. They both yearned for something more, but were aware of the world around them. One day, while they walked in the garden of the military base, Jack noticed Lyra looking at the sky longingly. "What do you miss the most?" he asked her. "My home. The trees that glow at night and the songs of the wind," she replied, her voice thick with emotion. "I want to return, but I can't." Hearing her pain sparked something inside Jack. He wanted to help her. He began to plan. The war had not fully ended. There were still scattered groups of Varkans under danger. Jack decided they would work together to find a way to free her people. With Lyra's knowledge of the Varkan movement and his military training, they came up with a daring plan. They would gather information on Varkan prisoners and create a mission to rescue them. It would be dangerous, but it was their chance to make a change. Under the cover of night, Jack and Lyra sneaked out of the base with a small group of Jack's trusted fellow soldiers. They traveled to a hidden Varkan camp, where Lyra's people were kept. Using the skills Jack learned in battle and the knowledge Lyra had, they managed to sneak past the guards. The camp was dark, but the sounds of the Varkans' soft voices filled the air. Lyra led the way, using her keen instincts to find her fellow beings. As they approached a group of Varkan prisoners, Jack felt a surge of hope. This was more than just a rescue. It was a chance for Lyra to reclaim her identity and her people. "Lyra," Jack whispered, "are you ready?" She nodded, her determination shining through her golden eyes. With a swift motion, she called out to her fellow Varkans, "We are here to save you." Startled, the prisoners looked towards Lyra, and when they recognized her, hope lit up their faces. The group worked together seamlessly. Jack and his soldiers held off the guards, while Lyra and her fellow Varkans freed the chained captives. It was a chaotic but exhilarating moment, filled with fear and excitement. Despite the danger, Jack felt alive. He realized how much Lyra meant to him and how strong her spirit was. After they freed the last of the prisoners, they made their escape. Just as they reached the edge of the camp, alarms blared. The Varkan guards were alerted. They hurried into the nearby forest, hearts pounding but spirits high. Once they were safe, Lyra turned to Jack, tears in her eyes. "Thank you for believing in me," she said. "You risked everything for my people." Jack smiled, realizing how far they had come together. "You're not just my reward. You are my friend." With the help of Jack's team and the newly freed Varkans, they organized a new effort to resist their oppressors. What started as a mission turned into a united front against the injustice that had taken so much. Over the following months, Jack and Lyra worked together, powered by their growing bond. They became leaders of a movement aimed at equality. The soldier and the alien woman found purpose in each other, showing that kindness can change the world. As the war began to shift, they knew their relationship had transformed too. No longer was Lyra seen as a slave, but as a powerful ally. It was a journey they never expected, bringing them closer and changing their views on each other. In the end, Jack and Lyra stood together, a symbol of hope for both their peoples. They knew that no matter how different they were, their hearts united for freedom and love. In a world that often saw divisions, they became an example of what true partnership looked like. Together, they could face anything that came their way. Sergeant Major Thomas "Tom" Baker, a man hardened by years of interstellar conflict, stood stiffly at attention. He was a soldier of the Earth Federation, a force battling the Krill, a ruthless alien species, for control of vital star systems. Tom had just led his squad through a brutal campaign, securing a critical victory against overwhelming odds. Now he was summoned to receive his commendation. General Vargas, a stern woman with eyes like chips of flint, addressed the assembled troops. "Sergeant Major Baker," she announced, her voice resonating across the parade ground, "for your exceptional bravery and leadership in the face of the enemy, the Federation offers you its deepest gratitude. As a token of our appreciation, you are hereby awarded a Krill slave." A murmur rippled through the ranks. Tom felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Slaves weren't uncommon in this war. The Krill used human slaves, and the Federation, while officially condemning the practice, often liberated Krill slaves, only to reassign them to its soldiers as a reward, a practice he always felt uneasy about. A Krill female was led forward. She was unlike anything Tom had ever seen. The Krill were typically known for their insectoid features, but this female looked different. She was tall and slender, with smooth, pale blue skin that shimmered slightly in the light. Her eyes were large and golden, and her head was framed by long, flowing black hair. She wore a simple, white garment that accentuated her alien beauty. Tom accepted the datapad containing her ownership transfer, his mind racing. He had never owned anyone, and the idea repulsed him. But orders were orders. He looked at the Krill female, her eyes fixed on the ground, and felt a strange mix of pity and curiosity. "What's your name?" he asked, his voice rough. She flinched, then slowly raised her head. "I am called Lyra," she said, her voice soft and melodic, with a slight alien accent. "Lyra," Tom repeated, testing the sound of it. "I'm Tom." He dismissed the troops and led Lyra back to his quarters. The silence between them was thick with tension. Tom's quarters were small and functional, designed for a single occupant. Lyra stood awkwardly in the center of the room, unsure of what to do. "You can sit down," Tom said, gesturing to the bed. Lyra hesitated, then sat on the edge of the bed, her posture still rigid. Tom ran a hand through his hair. "Look, Lyra, I'm not happy about this situation either. I don't believe in slavery. But for now, you're here. and I'm responsible for you." Lyra looked up at him, her golden eyes searching his. "What? What will you do with me?" Tom sighed. "I don't know yet. I'm not going to mistreat you, if that's what you're worried about. I need to figure things out." Days turned into weeks. Tom struggled with his new reality. He couldn't bring himself to treat Lyra like a slave. He gave her chores around the quarters, but he also tried to engage her in conversation. He learned that she was a scholar from a krill colony captured during a raid. She spoke several languages, including a rudimentary form of English. Lyra, in turn, was cautious but curious. She observed Tom closely, studying his habits and his expressions. She saw that he was a good man, burdened by the war and the choices he had to make. She began to relax around him, her fear slowly replaced by a tentative trust. One evening, Tom found Lyra studying a holographic map of the galaxy. "What are you looking at?" he asked. "I'm trying to understand your—" "War," she said. "Why do humans and krill fight?" Tom sat down beside her and pointed to a cluster of stars. "It started with resources. We both need the same planets to survive. But it's become more than that now. It's about power, about ideology, about revenge." Lyra frowned. "But is there no other way? Can't you find a way to share?" Tom shook his head. "The krill don't negotiate. They only conquer." "That is not true," Lyra said, her voice rising. "My people are not all like that. There are those who seek peace, who believe in diplomacy." Tom looked at her, surprised. "You really believe that?" "I know it," Lyra said firmly. "I have seen it with my own eyes." A spark of an idea ignited in Tom's mind. Maybe, just maybe, Lyra could be more than just a slave. Maybe she could be a bridge between two warring species. He started to teach her more about human culture, about their history, their art, their dreams. Lyra, in turn, shared her knowledge of the krill, their customs, their beliefs, their fears. They spent hours talking, arguing, learning from each other. Their relationship deepened, evolving beyond master and slave. They found common ground in their shared humanity, in their desire for peace. Tom began to see Lyra not as an alien, but as a person, a woman with her own thoughts and feelings. He was drawn to her intelligence, her compassion, her unwavering hope. One day, General E. Vargas summoned Tom. "Sergeant Major Baker," she said, her voice sharp, "I've noticed a change in your behavior. You seem to be fraternizing with your slave." Tom stood his ground. "Lyra is not just a slave, General. She's an intelligent being, and she has valuable insights into the krill mind." "Are you suggesting that we should trust a krill?" Vargas asked, her eyes narrowing. "I'm suggesting that we should listen to her," Tom said. "She may be the key to ending this war." Vargas was silent for a moment, considering his words. "I'll allow you to continue your experiment," she said finally. "But know this, Sergeant Major. If you're wrong, if this krill is playing you, there will be consequences." Tom returned to his quarters, his heart pounding. He told Lyra about his conversation with the general. "This is our chance," he said. "We can show them that peace is possible." Lyra nodded, her eyes shining with determination. "We will not fail," she said. Together, they began to draft a proposal, a plan for a peace treaty between humans and krill. It was a long shot, a desperate gamble. But they were willing to risk everything for the chance to end the war, to build a better future for both their peoples. As they worked side by side, Tom realized that his feelings for Lyra had grown into something more than just friendship. He loved her, her strength, her intelligence, her unwavering belief in peace. He knew that their relationship was forbidden, that it could have serious repercussions. But he couldn't deny his heart. One night, he reached out and took her hand. "Lyra," he said, his voice trembling. Before he could finish, Lyra leaned in and kissed him. It was a soft, tentative kiss, but it was filled with emotion, with hope, with love. They knew that their journey would be fraught with danger, that they would face opposition from both sides. But they were determined to fight for their love, for their peace, for their future. They were a human soldier and an alien woman, bound together by a bond that transcended species and war. They were a symbol of hope in a galaxy torn apart by conflict, a testament to the power of love to overcome even the greatest of divides. In the distant future, humanity had expanded beyond Earth, finding new worlds and encountering strange beings. Captain Jake Lawson, a skilled soldier in the United Earth Army, had just returned from a dangerous mission to a distant planet known as Zorath. His bravery and leadership saved many of his comrades, and he was celebrated as a hero. Upon his return, the commander of the United Earth Army called Jake to his office. It was a large room filled with screens displaying maps of the galaxy. The commander looked serious as he spoke. "Jake, you did great out there. To reward you for your bravery, we have brought you something special," he said, gesturing toward a door at the back of the room. Jake was curious. He had no idea what to expect. The commander opened the door and revealed a beautiful alien woman. Her name was Lyra, and she was from Zorath, a planet known for its exotic beings. She had bright green skin, long flowing hair that shimmered like the stars, and large, expressive eyes. "This is Lyra. She will be your companion," the commander explained. "She is considered a servant in her culture. Treat her well, and she will make your life easier." Jake felt uncertain. He had fought for freedom and justice, but now he was given a woman like a trophy. Nevertheless, he nodded and accepted her presence. Lyra looked at Jake with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. She had lived a sheltered life, and now she was far from home. Jake decided to show her kindness. He smiled and said, "Welcome, Lyra. You don't have to be afraid. We'll figure this out together." Lyra tilted her head, trying to understand him. She didn't speak much English, but she nodded slowly, sensing Jake's good intentions. As days passed, she began to adapt to her new life. Jake took time to learn about her world. He learned that Zorath was rich in nature, filled with towering trees and strange creatures. Lyra spoke about her people, their culture, and their love for art and music. Jake found her stories fascinating. He listened with interest, and slowly a bond began to form between them. One evening, while Jake was cleaning his weapons, he asked, "Lyra, what do you miss most about Zorath?" She paused, looking out the window at the stars, and replied softly, "The singing of the trees. They sing in harmony with the wind." Jake could feel the sadness in her voice, and he felt a strong urge to help her find happiness. Inspired by her love for nature, Jake surprised her by taking her to a small garden located on the base. It was not Zorath, but it was full of colorful flowers and chirping birds. Her eyes lit up with joy as she explored the garden, touching each flower gently. Jake smiled, feeling fulfilled. As they spent more time together, Lyra began teaching Jake some of her language, and he tried teaching her more about Earth customs. They laughed at their mistakes, and the friendship between them grew stronger. However, not everyone approved of this relationship. Some soldiers in the base whispered cruel things about Lyra and dismissed her as an inferior being. Jake grew angry with their behavior and defended Lyra fiercely. He used his rank to ensure that she was treated with respect, asserting that she was more than a reward. She was his friend. One day, while exploring the garden together, they encountered a group of soldiers. They were mocking Lyra, calling her names. Jake stepped in front of her, his face stern. "Stop! She is not your toy. Show her respect." "What are you doing, Captain?" "It's just an alien," one soldier sneered. "She's a person with feelings just like us," Jake snapped back. His voice was firm, and the soldiers backed off, sensing his anger. Lyra looked at Jake in awe. No one had ever defended her like that before. She felt grateful and touched by his kindness. This moment solidified their bond even further. Over time, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. Jake found himself falling for Lyra. He appreciated not just her beauty, but her spirit, her humor, and her wisdom. He admired her bravery as she navigated a world so different from her own. One night, under the stars, Jake took a deep breath. "Lyra, I never expected to feel this way about someone. You mean so much to me," he admitted, his heart racing. Lyra smiled softly, her eyes shimmering. "I feel the same, Jake. You have shown me kindness and courage. I never thought I could find happiness again." They shared a tender moment, realizing that they had both changed each other's lives in beautiful ways. But with their feelings came fear. They were from different worlds, and their relationship faced many challenges. One day, Jake received orders to lead another mission, this time far from the base. He needed to leave for weeks, and the thought of being away from Lyra filled him with dread. He worried about how she would cope without him. "Promise you will be safe," Lyra said, her voice trembling. "I don't want to lose you." Jake cupped her face in his hands. "I promise I will return. Just wait for me. I'll find a way for us to be together." As he prepared for his mission, Jake felt like he was leaving a part of himself behind. He entered his ship and glanced back one last time, seeing Lyra standing in the garden, tears in her eyes. His heart ached, promising himself he would come back for her. During the mission, Jake faced many dangers. Each day was a struggle, but he held on to the thought of Lyra. He knew he had to return not just for her, but for the future he dreamed they could have together. After weeks of fighting, Jake and his team finally succeeded in their mission. They returned home, and the first thing he did was rush to find Lyra. When he entered the garden, he found her waiting, her face lighting up with joy. "I knew you would come back," she exclaimed, tears of happiness streaming down her cheeks. Jake pulled her into a tight embrace. "I promised, didn't I?" In that moment, they knew that no matter the challenges ahead, their bond was unbreakable. Together, they would face whatever the universe threw their way, united by love, friendship, and courage.